and Joshua Templeman, who works at the desk next to hers, assists the co-CEOs Helene Pascal and Richard Bexley. According to her, one of the most crucial things about Lucy is her hatred of Joshua Templeman. In the morning, Lucy Hutton constantly thinks about how much she despises Joshua Templeman. The two of them often engaged in childish and unprofessional games. Lucy only performed something at work after turning it into a competition with Josh, whom she viewed as her archenemy. Both assistants hate each other and think the worst. Lucy is thinking about how to beat Joshua at work and how she can handle everything, and she looks at Joshua and thinks that all he wears is blue colors. She counts the days in her head and on which day Joshua has worn light blue, on which day he has worn tea blue, medium blue, and Savoy blue. And with that thought, she is disturbed by the thought that why does she think about him? She should hate him, and she gets back to work. In the next scene, they are both called to a meeting of CEOs, and they are about to announce the great news. Both Mr. Bexley and Helene want their executive assistant to fill the role of Chief Operating Officer when they announce the creation of a new post. They look at each other with grim smiles because none of them wants the other one to win. At that moment, she thought of how she could defeat him, and all she could think about was him only, and she wanted him to regret messing up with her, just like his work and behavior messed up her mind. So she starts making plans and starts thinking of how to make certain plans work. After intensifying her rivalry with Josh, Lucy goes back home and calls her mom, and her mother asks her if she isn't going out for the weekend, and tells her to find a man, and Lucy says that she is going out with her girlfriends. Her mother asks her why she isn't going out with that guy from the office, which she always brags about. Lucy needs clarification and thinks about why she always has Josh on her mind. With that thought, Lucy goes to bed, and Lucy then dreams sexually of him. She wakes up in the middle of her sleep, and thinking about that hot dream she has about Josh at that moment, she thinks of the awful idea. She thinks of luring Josh sexually so she can get into his mind, and also makes him get in trouble for sleeping as she has. The following day, with her awful plan in mind, she dresses up in a short black sleek dress for work to grab his attention. As she walks into the office, Josh sees her and smiles and asks her if she has a date, and she starts lying and telling him that she is dressed so nicely because she has a date. Joshua asks her at what place she is going, and she lies again about the place, and Josh says that coincidentally he is also going to that same place. This makes Lucy more awkward, and then he asks her if someone is from the office, and she says yes, but in reality there is nobody because she was dressed up to impress Josh. She goes downstairs and asks designer Danny to go out with her because he does not believe her. After seeing her in the black dress, Josh, who secretly likes Lucy, takes more interest in her and her date. As they go in the lift, Josh asks her if she needs a ride. She says she'll walk to the cafe. Still, Josh points at her high heels and tells her if she walks in such shoes, she might get her pretty little feet hurt at this. Lucy gets very angry, but her anger goes away as she sees him from very close. She looks in his eyes, and at that moment, they both connect. So Joshua can't handle himself, and he kisses her in the elevator. As the elevator stops, they both get very awkward. In a silent mood, Josh drops her at the cafe where Danny is waiting for her. Josh asks Lucy to take his umbrella as it is raining outside, but she says no and rushes out of the car. She gets in the cafe and greets Danny, but she is still thinking about the kiss as she excuses herself to go to the restroom. Josh shows up. She shouts at him for ruining her night, and all she can think of is how a man can manipulate her, and also tells her that she is looking pretty in that black dress. Josh tells her that he is not here to ruin her night, but is here to return her bag, which she forgot in the car. But that night, Ed insists on taking her to her date. She is surprised that she likes it, but she still goes on her date with Danny and is upset with Josh for ruining her night. She searches Joshua's desk the next day, seeking evidence to use against him, and discovers codes in his day planner that she cannot understand. A difficult-to-find Smurf figurine is delivered to Lucy by the mailman to add to her collection. Joshua criticizes her for worrying too much about what people think of her. Joshua makes fun of her growing up on a strawberry farm, unintentionally making her feel lonely and homesick. The following day, she gets roses and the note, "You're always gorgeous." She suspects Danny is the source of the roses. When she goes to work, she feels happy, and Josh asks her if they can forget about the kiss they had the night before, and Lucy agrees to this point. So Josh asks her what game they should play next, and she says why not be a normal college and not fight all the time, and Josh gives her a funny look. And at that moment, her boss walks in and asks about the campaign, and she is telling about her idea for the new promotions. Josh steps in and tells her that's a boring idea, and he has always submitted a promotion with a paintball game idea, which has been approved. That moment, Lucy has a flash and she thinks of choking Josh to death, but she comes back to her sense and says, "Okay, we're gonna play a gun game now." The next day, Josh's idea comes to life and everyone is at a paintball game played at work to foster camaraderie. As they are getting dressed to play the game, Lucy looks pale, and Josh checks her and says that she is burning, but she ignores him and goes to play the game. Danny steps in and asks Lucy if they can team up for the game, but Josh stops him there and says that the teams are pre-selected and that Lucy and Josh are a team. While playing the game, Lucy tries to win, and Josh tries to save her from getting hit, but she is stubborn, so she goes in front but gets hurt. They both fall to the ground, and Josh asks everyone to stop the game. As Lucy gets off her helmet, Josh notices she is burning, and before she can say anything, she vomits on Josh. Josh cares for her in the heart but doesn't show, so he brings her back to her house. When she becomes seriously ill, Joshua helps her get home. Once he realizes there is no one else to care for her, he stays to do so. She asks him to leave, but as he's about to calm her down, she vomits again, and Josh calls his brother to check up on Lucy as the whole family of Josh is full of doctors. After checking up on Lucy, Josh's brother asks him to rest and goes to